with a couple of good restaurants,
Okay.
Sea Salt and down in Minnehaha Park, and Tin Fish in north end of Lake Calhoun. And they're very successful, and I think it's a good model. I think it should be expanded. I think the park board has tried a number of things that have not been so successful. But I think that's a good model where you bring in entrepreneurs. Don't try to do the work yourself. Bring in an entrepreneur.
Maybe with an independent park board that gives them the flexibility to be more creative, because you have a different body of people working on parks specifically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas the city council, you know, they're dealing with so many other issues. They might not have the flexibility or the time to focus on, you know, these efforts that have to do with the parks specifically.
That's exactly right.
How do you grade the current park board and how they do their job?
Yeah, pretty well. That's one thing that I've appreciated, was I can come in and feel like I'm kind of running with them a little more than against them. I think some of the things they've done recently are good, like the pushing and getting through the restaurants in the parks, which are, you know, hugely popular, bring in a lot of people, which is, I mean, that's kind of your point, is you're trying to find things that people want.
Yep.
I think I like they have a great model of openness. All the meetings are televised and minutes published. You can find out exactly what was said and done with each meeting. That's not true of all branches of Minneapolis government. They kind of chafe against it, but they have been limited to 4% tax increase or funding increases each year, while the city's been getting 8% and even double-digit funding increases. I would ask the park board to embrace that and say, do we even need to do 4%? Can't we tighten our belt in a time like this? The economy, nobody else has funding increases in their personal life. Can't we tighten our belt, set an example for the city?
I asked this to my previous guest. I don't know why percentages have to go up, period. Because if incomes rise and if inflation causes incomes to rise, then taxes are going to rise on their own with inflation.
Yeah, well, the property values did, and then the property values go down. It's property taxes.
It's as if a percentage increase is standard.
Yeah,
and
in
that's
revenue.
just ridiculous, because where are we going to head eventually?
Yeah.
I mean, taxes are supposed to be a constant thing. You know, after you have your basic services, I don't want to go on a rant, but I just don't understand why they have to have any increases at all. So I guess I applaud the park board on one hand for only needing 4% increases, but I don't understand why they even need that.
Well, that's the thing. They haven't said that's all they need. That's all they get.
Yeah.
The city still has a lot of control over the Board of Estimate, which controls the park's funding. What I want to do is go to the community, to small businesses especially, and say, can you help us raise money for the parks or cut costs for the parks? One example, great example of cost cutting, was the Lake Harriet band shell was completely revamped. I believe it was 7 or 8 years ago. That was done, spearheaded by a private group of individuals who wanted to do the work and had to kind of fight to get the park board and the city to agree to that. You know, there's concerns like, are they going to do it right? Are they going to do a good job? Whatever, and they want to do it for free, and they know it's not like it was just somebody off the street. They knew what they were doing, and they did a great job. In the end, it did work out. They did a great job. I think it's a perfect model now to go forward and say, can't we do more of this? Can we get some landscaping done by a landscaper? And then what kind of, let's give them some recognition. That was one thing that was missing with the Lake Harriet band shell situation, is that they kind of didn't get much recognition afterwards. I don't know what it would be, but whatever these people who are stepping forward need to feel like, yeah, this is good for me too. I'm getting some recognition. I think that's worth doing. And then for fundraising, I want to go to the, again, small business community and say, what could you do? If the parks were open for business, what would you do? And I want to get a big list, and there's going to be a lot of bad ideas in there, but there's going to be some good ones.
I don't know if any of the parks in Minneapolis would be you know, populated enough in any given time for a, you know, you don't see any hot dog vendors.
Yeah, well, they used to. The park board used to try to do that, actually.
Did they really?
That you put that out. And you know, if a small business thought they could sell hot dogs, I would say, great, give it a shot. Because if you can't, that's going to be your problem. But but when the parks do it, like in the as I understand it, the Minnehaha pavilion there, Minnehaha Falls Pavilion, where now Sea Salt is, they used to have hot dogs and popcorn and stuff like that, and they'd lose money every year.
Yeah.
And now they don't have to hire anybody. They don't do anything. All the physical upgrades, the facility upgrades are done by the business, the restaurant business, Sea Salt, by the private owners, and they're making, as I understand it, over $100,000 a year, and that's increasing all the time. And there's still half that pavilion left to expand this concept. So I think there's a big upside on that, and I would love to see just destinations throughout the parks where we're doing, you know, whatever the community needs in that area. Do they need a restaurant? Do they need, you know, is it a little ice cream stand? What kind of building is there? Let's make it make sense for the building that's there. I think they've got 54 different facilities around the parks. I'd love to see every community engage that question of what would make this a destination where, you know, 10 times more of us would come out to this park.
Website, daveforparks.com, www.daveforparks.com. You do have a website up. Looks like you're just getting it started off the ground here.
Yeah, we'll have some good features there.
Blogging.
Come and give me your ideas. I'll have a place on the website to start a list of revenue generation, cost savings ideas. Love to have you.
That's good, because you don't
throw
need
your ideas
you don't need to limit that to the park board.
No, in fact, it really can't be, because you know, it's small business entrepreneurs are who we need to come up with ideas for business. Not elected officials. Of course, everyone can, but we need the whole community.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate your time on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.